Eagle 29.5 BHDS by Jayco landing here at Haylet RV of Coldwater, Michigan, 9,275 pounds as seen here. This is a smaller fifth wheel bunk model that does all of the things. It is a highly feature-packed rig here. So 0-degree functionality, check. Room for 4 batteries, roof and side mount solar, big outside kitchen. Fits better on larger, like 3/4 and 1 ton trucks, private rear bunks, direct facing entertainment center. I mean, this is an action-packed piece of equipment.
Having this, big super slide for living space and huge countertop for prep space, you're going to really enjoy that when you get there. The only hiccup is it does kind of pinch the RV off when the slide is closed. So keep that in mind, and as long as you kind of pack yourself accordingly, or maybe bring a little cooler to keep the kids kind of munched up on the road, you're going to make it and you're going to be all right.
Now, Eagle decors work a little bit differently from how you'd find them through most of the industry. This is called the modern farmhouse decor. It gives us these lighter wood tones with the darker accents, a little antiquing, and the, just very modern looking, like, color palette going on here. Now, I understand that some people are going to look at this and just go, whoa, that's a little too much for me. Don't worry, you can still get it in brown. It's called American Tradition. This just happens to be the modern farmhouse thing here. We've had really good response from customers on this, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Now, as long as I'm standing here, I'm a little bit out of order, but let's go ahead and start from the top down. Great lighting in here, and as silly as it sounds, I want to point out the fact that they have double rows of lights on here. More lights, more illumination. It's going to feel bigger, brighter, better, and they're also on a dimmer switch. So if you need to kind of help tone the kids down a little bit, you can do that. And when it's dimmed, it even has a little memory setting to it. Now, there's different furniture arrangements here. We have found a lot of people, normally here there'd be a hide-a-bed, for instance. And the one that we're looking at, we've upgraded this one to a theater seat. And there's a very good reason that we've done that. Generally speaking, for most people, there's already enough sleeping in here. You've got 2 big bunks with privacy in the back. Chances are you're buying a private bunkhouse so that you're not having people sleep in the living room. Now, there's always the ability to do that, or sometimes the need, I understand. But this is here really for, like, mom and dad, the adults on a rainy day. Because you need a spot where you can sit down, kick your feet back, and you need to relax too. Bunkhouses are nice. They seem to always be about the kids, but sometimes it's got to be a little bit about mom and dad too. And I think that this is just enough to get that. But we didn't go too crazy. We still have a normal, booth arrangement over here, full 4-person capacity, so you can really get the family around here. But this is the Eagle Dream Dinette system. You notice how there's no pedestal underneath this thing, so that you're not, knee bashing against it. And as a taller person, that's something that, I'm in tune with pretty much all the time. But if we do need to sleep some extra people here, still can. Now, a normal hide-a-bed would be a little bit better fit for 2 adults, but you will find 2 kids are just pleased as punch to, plop down and camp out overnight on that theater seat there. Plus, if you got the TV going, it'll put them right to sleep, which is really nice for those busybody kids. Now, you may have noticed how you have that full sliding privacy wall for the rear bunks. That is one of those things that I think really kind of launched this floor plan, the 29.5 BHDS Eagle. It seems like before this, there was always just kind of these open corner bunks like a travel trailer. And I think a lot of people found out that in a fifth wheel, people don't want to sacrifice. They still want that privacy, and such a space-efficient way to get private bunks. But remember how I said this also has nice entertainment, and mom and dad have to get a W every now and then too. That's why we have this no neck wrecker entertainment set up right here. So first of all, the TV, which is included by the way, it's simply shipped loose here at Haylet RV. It is on an angle facing the super slide seating, so it's always very easy to see. But it's even easier to see when you notice the fact that this has this big double-jointed articulating swing arm here. So if you want the TV to face just about anywhere in the living room and you don't want to have to turn your head at all, you do have the capacity to do that. Now, that electric space heating fireplace that we have below, that is an optional piece of equipment. It's just one of those things that gives it a nice shiny aesthetic. And it also is an electric space heater. That means you don't have to burn up your propane just to get a little bit of extra heating in your RV. You may have noticed there's a nice chunk of storage space behind the TV. Like the TV kind of swings out, sort of functions as a door for a little mini pantry. And I should note the fact that down here, our Bluetooth DVD system, it does have HDMI expansion, and you'll have extra HDMI plugs on the TV itself, and Jayco actually runs HDMI wiring, which is nice, as opposed to having a high-def TV with low-def wiring. So if you do choose, like, add a Blu-ray or something, you have a perfect little slot there to do it. But again, big chunk of storage space here. Now, it's not wasted behind the fireplace, because that's where the outside refrigerator and shelving is located. So they really utilized every inch of space very well. And then you see, again, all the way up here. Now, you might need a two-stepper to get to it, but you've got a pretty wicked-sized pantry going on. You may also realize that these are hidden hinge cabinets, so they've got that sleek, high-end look. And this is all pocket-screwed cabinetry, of course. So we slide that big door out of the way, and the storage hits just keep on coming, starting with right here in the kids' bunk area. It is really nice that this has great storage for the kids, because one of the things that anybody with children knows is they take up an immense amount of space. Also, I like how we've got the little step system here to help them kind of get to the upper bed instead of you throwing them. And that's because there's actually storage under the beds and under the steps outside. So they really did a great job of utilizing it both inside and outside. You see that blue LED light we're basically staring at? That's a perfect little night light for the kiddos. Also, if they need to get up and, get to the bathroom, something just helps them see. The big corner double bunks here. One thing I want to point out is if you notice, they each have their own little, like, sort of headboard shelf. And what you'll find as we go outside is there's actually a giant, like, HD TV area inside the outside kitchen there. Now, over here, 8 cubic foot fridge freezer, and I love the little, like, accents and burnishings that you have with that modern farmhouse thing. It's not just a flat white. It's got some shape, some antiquing, some character. And the overhead doors here, you can see, are strutted to keep themselves open for you. Now, the big cabinet right there on the left obviously has a shelf to double your total storage capacity. And as we come down here, the countertop in this is a pressed membrane material. So basically, let's say you spilled a drink or you're splashing water on that sink or whatever. No big deal. And actually, our dining table material is the same that we'll get to see in just a minute. Now, we've got nicer hardware in here. Take a listen. You can hear the difference between plastic and real metal, and this is something that Jayco does in a lot of their models. It's just got a neat, high-end, classy look and feel to it. Above your stainless sink, you have that like bamboo cutting board and that little aluminum roll-away drying rack. And it's so funny watching people always kind of curl that up and roll it out. Now down below you have a handy little phone charge station, which is neat when you're in the kitchen to have that available and out of the way. And you can see that they didn't waste an opportunity for drawer space, even an extra drawer there below the oven. Speaking of which, below those dinette benches, you've got doors for easy access and totes that slide out to make that very simple and easy to get to. Plus up here, you have that like hanging coat cabinet, so that right when you walk in the door, you do have a place for jackets, although those are both fully mirrored like the one on the left. The one on the left is not open, it's just there for visual aesthetics and it helps make the RV look and feel bigger. You know what? Give me just a second. Let me close everything up and we'll just take a look at the rest of the storage here, including the extra little bonus drawer under the oven. Just like the rest of them, full extension, plywood boxed, heavier grade, better quality, longer lasting construction. Now something I usually talk about earlier, and I think I meant to when we started inside at the ceiling, is that these have a standard 15,000 BTU air conditioner, but it's also whisper ducted. So if you don't see the square, you won't hear the air. And that's just another one of those extra little things that Eagle does. Eagle is, as the kids would say, extra, but very smart as well. Because one of the focal points of this floor plan is to give you a nicer living experience in a smaller fifth wheel bunk model. And you can accomplish that very simply and easily here. One more thing, if we kind of zero back in on the kitchen cabinets for just a second, I realized I missed something. The back side of this big L-shaped peninsula counter, even that has easy access shelf space to it. And notice that we have, easy reach power outlets right here. Plus there's an additional power outlet right next to that light above your kitchen breeze window. Real quick note, I want to point out what this thing is right here. This is basically what you're going to use it as, is a 2-plug USB hub. You do have the option of like getting on Amazon or whatever and getting a portable Bluetooth Furrion speaker. That being said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's very nice. It is neat that it does mount there, but this thing already has surround sound, and you can get cheaper Bluetooth speakers. I'm just going to throw that out there. Also, these have handy little touchscreen remote system. So if you want to operate your slides, your awnings, your stabilizers, your landing gear, your awning lighting, you can do all that remotely. You don't necessarily have to constantly climb inside and out. And notice that we have a full window, a full viewing window in the entry door, but it does also have an interior privacy shade, so it will function just like the hallway light right here. So our bedroom, you know what? I forgot to turn on the lights. That's my fault. On second thought, we're going to roll with it, because that's another thing that Eagle does very well. They give you more lighting options in your bedroom and bathroom area. So above the bed, you see you've got those dual blue LED lamps. That's a dual element system right there. So it's in like kind of night mode or like book reading mode, and we'll turn on the main lights in just a second. But you've got a similar situation going on here in the bathroom. You've got that kind of similar single blue LED light, and not as impressive during the day, but even now you can kind of see how it's making the shower glow a little bit. So you can get through here at night. You can see everything without needing to turn on bright direct lights and blinding yourself, which is another reason why they do what I like to call a backlit morning mirror here in these Eagles. And that's something where, if you are getting up early or you're, waking up at night to use the bathroom or something, it's that extra little kick of light you need to be able to see without blinding yourself with the main cabin lighting. Now, the real tile backsplash here, just a nice little touch in the bathroom, and that is the same type of countertop material that we saw on the dining table and the kitchen counter, so they're very consistent that way. Note, there's no heat vent or anything right in front of the shower, right when you step out. I know a lot of people are really not keen on that. I kind of understand why, but doing this for a long time and actually going camping, I also don't really see it as that big of an issue. But hey, to each their own. It's your RV, it's your purchase. You purchase how you're comfortable and what makes sense to you. Now, the shower plumbing is actually recessed into the floor. So that means that this is a full walk-in height shower, which is nice. There's no real big step up or anything like that. And it's dual entry because you have a combination sort of bedroom and bathroom pass-through closet slide here with some great dedicated linen space built right into it. So this is kind of what's neat. There's plenty of room in front of this porcelain foot floor stool. You can actually get dressed in here. You don't have to, do the naked streak out of the bathroom to try to get a towel and scar your kids for life. Now back here in the bedroom, you do have white lighting above that bed as well, but you've got serious cabin lighting with a handy little light switch right in here. Isn't that nice? Now the bathroom fan, I forgot to tell you something about that. It's got an enclosure on top of it so that basically rain can't get into it, so you can use that fan anytime. We'll probably take a look at that. I'll probably get up on the roof and we'll peek at it. 60 by 80 queen bed right here. And as compared to years past, they have extremely minimal little bump by the end of the bed. You no longer have that super duper big, tall, scary step up or anything like that. Now, these are not hanging closets on each side of the bed. You've got dual side stands with household and USB plugs. Extra little overhead cabinets there. But most of your hanging storage is actually going to be located here in the closet slide itself. But notice, again, the smart nature of an Eagle. They include a cross breeze window here in their slide out, which is something most brands will not offer you. So you're going to lose the extra light, the extra airflow in most closet slide models, but not in an Eagle. And there's your hanging storage with, hey, a bonus dresser drawer to boot. And remember, when you don't have that big step up under the bed, you have a larger storage capacity down here too. And note that even where they're not expecting you to look, Jayco's still using superior materials like plywood versus OSB. OSB is fine. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's just that generally speaking, plywood will tend to be better. Now, just like the inside, there's a bunch of smart little detail features going on here on this Eagle HT that are very, very easy to miss. Starting right up front here, this is my fault. I failed to demonstrate often enough, and that is the really cool nose accent lighting that they have on these Eagles. You see you've got those vertical sort of glow beams that just look awesome. Even midday, they just kind of frame up the logo, don't they? Don't they look good? You've got Hitch lighting right up front here too, so you can see what you're doing when you're getting hooked up. Now there is room for 4 batteries in that front compartment, and there's a superior construction aspect right here that unfortunately you can't see. The good news is, I've got visual aids. So, to begin with, when you're walking through an RV dealership, or if you go on a factory tour or whatever, how often has the presenter or tour guide or whatever said, I want to show you something I'm really excited about. We build, you know, minimal structure into our RVs, because and over time, as you tow this thing, maybe not right away, but over time, you're going to get a crack right here in your fiberglass. We're really proud of that. Well, that doesn't make sense, does it? It sounds stupid. But you don't see the crack here on these Jaycos. That's because they use a thicker box tube steel upper frame with little sidewall flanges. So basically you have little miniature upper deck outriggers, just like you have lower deck outriggers. Isn't that smart? Just extra little detail things here. Now, I want to take a peek at something. And this is about the only thing that you can really see of it. And that's, if you look at this upper deck here, you can see how it's fully insulated. And by the way, notice they have motion lights on both sides of the pass-through. Isn't that smart? Well, anyway, so back there, there's no such thing as an R40 roof, R52, whatever. Those values do not exist. An R40 roof would have to be something like 16 inches thick. And I challenge you to produce an RV with a 16-inch thick roof. It's just, it doesn't happen. That foily stuff we looked at, guys, it does not actually have an R value. So, you know, I could make up anything. I could call this an R72. Prove me wrong. The problem is there's no one who actually checks and tests this stuff. So if someone's willing, they can just say whatever they want. It doesn't mean it's a bad RV, but it just means that there's people willing to say anything to get your money. I'm not one of them. What I believe in is hard, proven testing data. And for years now, Eagle has led this category with some of the most impressive cold camp testing data that is published, proven on a per floor plan individual basis. Because they have not just a heated enclosed belly, they have you know, a superior variety of that thermal resistant sort of foil blanketing, but they also you know, insulate the slide floors. You have you know, additional insulation through the roof, around the nose cap, above the pin box. In the slide floor. I mean, there's no area of this that's missed. The underbelly has its own layers of insulation. You saw that the upper bathroom deck has its own layers of insulation. I mean, every single layer of this thing is dressed and pressed to perform. So call it whatever you want, but the fact is, at the end of the day, the Jayco Eagle HT is among the best performing for hot cold camp testing you know, in this class and category. Now back here, there's a neat little thing I want to point out. That's the SantaCon system, and I always forget to open the door in that thing. Let's see if I can try to do this left-handed real quick. But this is an optional piece of equipment, and what this does, guys, is it eliminates the need most of the time to bring along an actual sewer hose and connections and everything, because the hose, the handle, everything is basically already in here. And it's essentially like a kitchen sink garbage disposal for your black and gray tanks. It's got a power macerator on it, and it has a power exhaust, so it'll empty your tanks twice as fast. And it can even do a measure of an uphill pump if you have a goofy bad campsite, or you forgot to like bring the little Caterpillar, you know, thing with you or whatever. So it's got, oh, what is it, a 20 or 25 foot hose? I can't remember which. I'll see if I can double check that. Now, remember how I said, below the steps in the bunkhouse, you have extra storage. So you have that big front pass-through, plus you have this huge trunk in the back with more motion lighting, of course. And what that's going to give you here is room for like extra totes, all the kids' stuff. I mean, anything you can imagine. The kids could probably play hide and seek in there. Sometimes I wonder if they couldn't make some sort of little doghouse feature out of that. Obviously, you'd want to get it ventilated inside. But now, here's a best-in-class feature, and this is standard, is it's not just a rear receiver hitch for accessories. The Eagle HT series has a best-in-class 3,000 pound rated factory towing hitch. So if you want to tow doubles, you want to tow something behind an RV, unless you're willing to sacrifice your warranty, you really need to look at a Jayco, because they're also even including four-way wiring over there, so that even your trailer will have, you know, proper taillights. Speaking of lights, this has the J-Smart lighting system. It first debuted on Eagles last year and has since rolled out to the majority of the rest of the Jayco family. And it's proven so popular that other manufacturers have had to knee-jerk to try to band-aid their RVs to have something similar to it. So what this does, let's say you flip on your right-hand turn signal. Additional upper clearance lights, front and rear, will blink with the signals, as will all of your side marker lights, so that people can actually see what your intentions are on the road. Plus, you have extremely bright reverse travel lighting, one mounted above the backup camera prep, and one each in each of the tail lights. So basically, this is going to light up pretty much the way that your I don't know, vehicle would, or a semi-tractor trailer or something like that. Other brands have tried to do something to make you think they have this. They have maybe reverse travel lighting, which is great. I'm happy that they have it. It's better than what they used to have. But the full J-Smart side blinker light package is exclusive to Jayco RV at this time. And what's neat is between that like full-size, really high-rise outside kitchen door and the large awning, you've got pretty close to full shaded coverage over here. You know, if you're just looking to kind of sit out under the sun, do some grilling, whatever. You got Mr. Jody over here doing some quality control for us. Now, their outside kitchen arrangement is very irregular on here, and it's due to the fact that if you remember inside, we had those big bunks up there. Well, they stole a couple inches. Remember that little headboard storage area for the bunks? This is what's behind it. If you want to, you could mount like a home theater flat screen in here and just have a good time. Now down below it, we've got that full tile backsplash, a real sink with drain, and you've got just the most ridiculously large galvanized rolled steel countertop and prep space out here that you're ever going to find in an outside kitchen. Along with matching drawer, and then you see the Capital Grill in that slide out over there with the Jayco Bluebird Barley Pop opener. They should make their own barley pop called Bluebird. There probably already is, doesn't matter. Anyway, so over here, a couple things. Another one of those little USB hubs that we talked about inside, household outlets. They even have neat little night lighting out here, so you have a cool little evening experience. You've also got the larger outside kitchen fridge that you would normally find with a larger outside kitchen, and I love that they're actually purpose building a little shelf into that. Now that was a smart decision. Now the awning has an auto rain dump feature. It does have a manual tilt and lock, though I don't think most people are going to use that because this is pretty darn high. Also, a white under awning along with this, full-length LED light up here really casts a lot of illumination. Now, this is important right here. Eagle HTs have a couple things that make them better for bigger trucks than virtually any other fifth wheel in this class and category. First of all, what we are looking at here is optional 16-inch Goodyear Endurance Radials. So first of all, these are 16s instead of 15s. Secondly, American sourced. Third, rated for 87 mile an hour at 80 psi. That's a best-in-class feature. And hey, the aluminum wheels don't look terrible either. Now down here, you're also going to find you've got the nicer MORryde CRE 3000 suspension system. You don't tend to get that in a small to mid-size fifth wheel until you are, well, you just don't tend to. You don't tend to get that until you're in the mid to upper size. But again, ride and handling is important here. Another thing is Eagle HTs have adjustable axle hangers. Not only do you have an extra inch of clearance thanks to those tires, but you can actually adjust the body up and down so that this thing can, ride on a 1-ton dually if you want to, and it'll ride flat. It's not going to ride on a, crooked angle or anything. Now, our aluminum plank steps are great if your feet are wet. Oh, by the way, they planned on this being built with the tires in the up position, so they actually spaced out their triple step accordingly, so that this is riding in the maximum. Go ahead, Jody, do what you got to do. They planned on this riding down the road on 1-ton dualies from the factory. So they said, you know what? Let's make sure that those steps are going to do what they're supposed to, so that they're not sticking 2 feet off the ground or anything. Now our outside speakers down here, they're down low. They're at picnic level, so that you can keep it at picnic volume. You're not going to have to crank it up to the, rock stadium volume or anything. And you might have noticed Mr. Jody kicking on a handy little step light down here. It's not much, but at night, against these bright steps, it's going to do a heck of a job. And notice that the switch is outside. You don't have to go into the RV to activate the switch to see the steps. Do you see the logic failure in there? Now over here, we've got a very nice pass-through compartment. And what I like is you can see that you've got like the same rubberized diamond plate stuff going on here that you might find in a seismic fifth wheel toy hauler. And we've already talked about 0 to 100 degree rated, but once again you can see the better materials like the double-sided astrofoil here versus like the conventional one-layer hot dog paper. It's just better materials, and they don't use it just here where you can see it. It's used anywhere. This is all they use at Jayco. Plus, motion sense activated lighting in here. Of course, we have to turn it on for it to sense motion. It does have an on and off mode, but also motion mode. Outside TV hookups. But notice how you've got this little feed port down here, because you can actually run cables down through it if you are so inclined. So, there you have it, guys. Let's see. I think we've got it at ground level. The good news is there's still more to learn. We're going to take a jaunt upstairs because there's some kind of standout features even on the roof of this Eagle. First of all, I like the awning fade, the way the colors kind of shade here and shift, but chances are, unless you're up here, you're never going to see that. Now, a few things I want to point out. One, they are generous with sealants at Jayco RV, and God bless them for it, because that helps us eliminate any sort of factory issues. Two, we have a roof mount solar prep. So you have side and roof solar prep. If you, and I tell you what, let me back up. Let me make sure I'm not going to trip over anything and fall off this. Because, you know, that would end my career quickly. We have all kinds of real estate up here. Now, those footprints are free. But the good news is they're not going to be there when you guys take them home. Or take this home or any RV home. Because one of the things that we do at Haylet RV is every new RV that we have here, it's going to be, you know, 3 times quality inspected. You already saw Jody doing an initial surface inspection. And then we are going to go through, we're going to clean it. We're going to show you how it works. Propane fill, dual batteries on a fifth wheel like this. Everything that this RV needs to function and everything you need to know to do it, you get at no additional charge at Haylet RV. We are not a hidden fee dealership, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Now, over here, this is another neat thing. This is the bathroom vent fan. Notice it's shaped a little bit differently. Well, basically, guys, you're not going to have to go buy a MaxxAir vent cover for this because it's already set up so that rain can't get in it, but you can use or run the fan anytime you want. Isn't that cool? And the little 360 siphon cap on your black tank chimney right there, what that's going to do is help prevent backflow of odors from the black tank as, you know, normal chemical processes take place there. Now, something you can't see. That's the construction of this RV. We're walking on their Magnum Truss roof system, which is rated for like 4,800 pounds. It's ridiculous. We are, you know, if you hear somebody say, oh, it's got a 12-year roof warranty, and then they stop talking, get away from them, because that's a snake oil salesman. Virtually, I mean, you see, all of these RVs, with the exception of Open Range, they all have a 10 to 12-year, quote, roof warranty. But that's just the membrane. And the reason I say except Open Range is because theirs is 15. Well, that's just the membrane. It's not a maintenance-free guarantee or anything silly like that. There's still things that you need to take care of. Like, you still need to condition your seals. You still need to clean your roof membrane. It's still a good idea to use a UV conditioner to keep the sun from eating it alive, you know. It's just like your car. I don't care what kind of fancy car you get. You got to change some fluids and stuff and tires every now and then. This is really no different. But it's below the skin that matters. So what's below the skin of an Eagle? Well, first of all, how about best-in-class 3/8 plywood roof decking instead of OSB? That's nice. It's also got extra thick roof trusses that are kind of held together with larger nail plates. And I don't know if you understand what that means, but if you ever go on a factory tour, you'll see what I mean. Long story short, those are the things that help this roof hold up better, stronger, longer. Now, your sidewalls are aluminum framed, vacuum bonded, and your floor has a 2x3 aluminum stud structure with a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor deck, just like a North Point, just like a Pinnacle. Heavy duty floor construction on this thing. You know, that's what they go the extra mile here, guys. There's nothing, like, here we're looking at a Cougar. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually built very intelligently. It's built to, you know, things that make sense, and you could easily argue that Cougars are not overbuilt, so you're not overspending money on things that don't matter. But there's also going to be a number of people that say, I don't know. I don't think you can ever get too much construction. I don't think you can ever be built too heavily or something. Well, that's kind of where your Jaycos come in, is they're sort of that next step above in that premium category. It's not that they're just better than everything. It's just that there's good and then there's better. And that's kind of the difference here, guys, is that we're in that higher end, more premium category now. So, whether it's hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between, you can see that we've pretty much got it all, and we do pretty much do it all here at Haylett RV. And I say pretty much because we don't do dealer fees, as I already mentioned. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.